Dear Clarence Thomas, sorry, just a little sweaty today. Just finished feeding. It's very hot outside. But I have some questions for you. This isn't the Yankee farm wife. This is Meemaw. Don't expect anything funny or satirical. I'll make up for it on Monday, I promise. I grew up with guns. I got my first .22 rifle for my 12th Christmas, my first handgun for my sweet 16. I was on the shotgun team in college. I can barely hear out of my right ear from so much time spent at the rifle range and at the gravel pit shooting clay pigeons. My question for you is this. How can you possibly justify legalizing bump stocks again? You paraphrased industry propaganda in your ruling. That is, it's not as easy to work the trigger as one might think. So maybe a 5th grader couldn't figure it out, but a 10th grader can. Thanks. You've just saved us from middle schoolers with the equivalent of a machine gun. Have you ever dropped your 5-year-old grandchild off at school and scanned the woods across the street, watching for a nutcase in tactical gear carrying a rifle? I have. Every single morning when I dropped him off and every afternoon when I picked him up. Have you planned how you drive your truck right over the median divider and run him down? Have you ever wondered if you have enough body mass to absorb the bullets when you throw your body over that of the child who lights up your life in a billion different ways, who you would die a billion agonizing deaths for rather than let him ever be hurt? We live in Connecticut. On the day of the Sandy Hook shootings, when word first came out and we didn't yet know it was a massacre, did you huddle in a chair and pray? Did you call your friends who also lived in Sandy Hook trying to get information? And when they found out how gruesome and horrific it was, did you curl up on the floor and sob for those sweet babies and their brave teachers? It's a small state. I didn't know the families who lost children at that time, but I knew many of their dear friends, as well as the waitress at the local diner who took care of them on Sundays after church. Yes, Alex Jones, you human piece of garbage. Sandy Hook was very real. I knew how completely wrecked these people were, how they carry the tragedy with them every moment of their lives. Who else are you taking money from that you could do such a thing? Is the NRA funneling funds through Harlan Crow, the Koch brothers? How in good conscience could you make a decision like that? I hope any vacation you get out of it is very worth it. So there's a poll from Fox News, April of 23. Fox News. 87% of those surveyed want a required criminal background check for all gun buyers. 81% want the legal age to buy guns to be 21. 80% want mental health checks on gun purchasers. 80% want police to be allowed to take guns away from people who are considered a danger to themselves or others. Last but not least, 61% support banning assault weapons and semi-automatic weapons. Just over half responded that they worried they or their loved ones could be victims of gun violence. I think that number is a hell of a lot higher. Do I have a gun? Hell yes. All I need is one. Daddy taught me well and was very proud of his daughter, who was a better shot than all the men on the team. The NRA wants us to believe all our guns will be confiscated. It's the least of my worries, but it's how they get to live their lives of luxury. It's all about money and it's bullshit. All sensible, reasonably intelligent people want is to keep guns out of the wrong hands. You, Justice Thomas, live a sheltered life of great luxury. You are out of touch with reality. We have technology that could instantly access data with every single person who should not have a gun for all of the above reasons. Because as we know from Hunter Biden, nobody is really going to tell the truth on an application if they think no one is checking on them. Nobody is perfect. God knows I am far from it. But Justice Thomas, I believe you can expect all holy hell to rain down upon you when the next lunatic with a gun rents a room high above a music festival and starts firing bullets at machine gun speed down upon people using a rifle equipped with a bump stock. Again. Clearly, they aren't that hard to operate. Every single death, every injury, every destroyed and broken family will be on your soul and the other members of the not so highly esteemed Supreme Court who allowed this to happen. I do hope all those vacations were worth it. Sincerely, this Meemaw and pretty much all the rest of the Meemaws.
Hello everyone, I'm Kate. I'm the videographer and the editor and various other positions for the Yankee Farm Wife. Typically I'm behind the camera, but today's topic struck a chord with me, so let's get to the matter at hand and the man of the hour. Hi, Clarence Thomas. I don't have questions for you today, actually. I have stories. As a devout Catholic man, I know that you must love children. Now, I do have a little question, but it's more of a clarification. If you do love children, which I'm assuming you do as a good Catholic man, is the love just for unformed and unborn fetuses that strip women of their rights? Or do the children being innocently slaughtered in their classrooms not apply? I was, I think, 12 years old when Sandy Hook happened. I went to school about a half hour from there, and I remember there was a lockdown and no one knew what was going on, and all the teachers were really on edge. After that, lockdown drills became a very normal routine, more so than they were already. So growing up, every day, I had the fear in the back of my mind that someone was gonna bring a gun. You know, as a kid with anxiety, already scared to go to school, it's a little rough fearing guns too. As the years went on, the drills got really scary and kind of traumatizing. They started teaching us these little tricks. During the drills, the school police officer and whoever else was involved would actually bang on the door, mocking a shooter. They would bang and they would yell, "Police, let me in, this is not a drill." But we had to learn that they were lying and that police who were actually there to help would have a key to the classroom. So we can never ever trust anyone who says, "Open the door, I need help." And that if one of our classmates needed to get out and escape because a gunman was chasing them down, we couldn't open the door. We couldn't open the door and save them because it might get us killed. As a young teenager, this is what we were being taught. This was prioritized above our education. I was hardly 18 when the Parkland shooting happened. There was the national school walkout, and after the walkout, a couple other students and I went to our local courthouse protesting gun violence. I grew up in the most conservative county in the state of New York, so there were maybe me and 7 other people. And all day long, grown adults, grown men in big loud trucks were driving by screaming, "You should be shot." The most horrible profanities one could think of, really, to scream at teenage girls. Our sheriff's department later made a post, trying to gain voters, and they made a post of us, not blurring our faces. None of us were over the age of 18 at that point. There were hundreds of comments, many death wishes and even threats. There were things such as, "They should have been the ones shot. I hope they're next. I'll take care of it. Idiots. Attention whores. If I lived there, I'd give them something to be scared of." And many more. I was sick, I was outraged, and no one was doing anything about it. I was 17 years old, and these grown adults were wishing for my death. No, not just death, murder. Murder. 7 days before my 18th birthday was March for Our Lives. And so me and a few other kids from all different school districts gave speeches in front of thousands of people. And we talked about the reality and terror that we went through as students. I went to a truly liberal and leftist small state school where Republicans were shunned. And that was the first time in my entire life that I felt like I had a normal academic career where I wasn't scared in classrooms. I mean, then COVID happened after a year and a half, but it's been 6 years since Parkland, nearly 12 years since Sandy Hook. And what has been done? The small action that was taken was just stripped. Where's the justice to the slaughtered children? It was overturned on a technicality. Let me read this so I'm not mistaken. If a shooter wants to fire multiple shots using a semi-automatic rifle with a bump stock, he must also actively maintain just the right amount of forward pressure on the rifle's front grip, meaning the shots are not automatic. Thanks, Judge Thomas. Really cleared things up. It's funny that you described it as using just the right amount of pressure, because that's how I would describe how the NRA measures how much blood money to fill the GOP's pockets with. Anyway, that's my take. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for all the support. Judge Thomas, it's been real.